blood money fueling the cartels. The deafening rattle of gunfire echoes through the streets. The pungent smell of gunpowder hangs heavy in the air. Bodies riddled with bullets litter the dusty ground, a grim testament to the violence. This is the brutal reality of Mexico's drug war, a conflict fueled by an endless supply of weapons flowing in from across the border. But these aren't rusty relics or homemade firearms. They are modern, lethal weapons. These are high-powered rifles, gleaming pistols, and even devastating .50 caliber sniper rifles, all flowing south across the US-Mexico border, fueling the fire of conflict. Every year, hundreds of thousands of guns are smuggled into the hands of ruthless cartels, transforming them into paramilitary forces capable of challenging the Mexican state itself, creating a state of perpetual warfare. This is the story of that deadly trade, a journey into the heart of a shadowy underworld where profit trumps peace and American firepower fuels a relentless cycle of violence, leaving devastation in its wake. The United States, with its deeply ingrained gun culture and lax regulations, has become the unwilling armorer of Mexico's drug war, supplying the tools of destruction. While law-abiding citizens exercise their Second Amendment rights, a sinister network of gun traffickers and corrupt dealers exploit the system, funneling weapons south to fuel the cartel's insatiable appetite for violence, creating a black market of death. This is not a victimless crime. It leaves behind a trail of grief and loss. Every gun that crosses the border has the potential to take lives, destroy families, and destabilize an entire region, perpetuating a cycle of violence and sorrow. The consequences of this illicit trade are devastating, leaving communities in ruins. Mexico, a nation with stringent gun laws and only one legal gun store, is awash in American firearms, a stark contrast that highlights the severity of the issue. The cartels, flush with cash and weaponry, operate with impunity, terrorizing communities and corrupting officials, creating an environment of fear and lawlessness. The Mexican government, despite its best efforts, seems powerless to stem the flow of guns from its northern neighbor, struggling against a tide of violence. This is a crisis that demands our attention, a complex issue with no easy answers, but one that we can no longer afford to ignore. The time for action is now. Shared crisis that demands a coordinated response. The collaboration between US and problem, it is a shared crisis that demands a coordinated response. From streets to cartels, tracing the flow. Sometimes the best intentions can lead to the worst outcomes, creating problems that are far worse than the original issues. When governments supply weapons to allies, the hope is to strengthen defenses, promote stability, and ensure peace in volatile regions. But what happens when these weapons fall into the wrong hands, slipping through the cracks of oversight and control? Often they end up arming the very cartels and insurgent groups that they were meant to combat, escalating violence. It's a dangerous cycle, fueled by a mix of corruption, oversight failures, and sheer desperation among communities. And the consequences can be devastating, not just for the regions in conflict but for the world at large, affecting global stability. In the face of escalating violence, Mexico has taken a stand. Communities are rising up, refusing to be cowed by the terror inflicted by illegal firearms. This fight is not just about survival, it's about reclaiming their future, their dignity. The government, too, is stepping up, tightening border controls and cracking down on smuggling routes. It's a battle on multiple fronts, but the message is clear. Mexico is fighting back. The illegal gun trade forces us to confront a profound moral dilemma. It's not just about the weapons themselves, but about the human cost. Families torn apart, lives lost, communities shattered. We must ask ourselves, what is the price of our inaction? Can we stand by while innocent lives are destroyed? This is a moment of moral reckoning, a call for each of us to examine our conscience and our role in this crisis. The fight against the illegal gun trade is not Mexico's alone. It's a shared responsibility. From manufacturers to policymakers, from local communities to international bodies, everyone has a part to play. Cooperation and collaboration are crucial. We need to bridge gaps, share intelligence, and work towards common goals. Only then can we hope to make a real difference. The future depends on the actions we take today. Disarming the future means creating a world where illegal firearms no longer dictate the terms of life and death. It means investing in education, in community programs, in opportunities that steer people away from violence. It means enforcing laws and holding accountable those who profit from this deadly trade. Together, we can disarm the future and build a safer, more just world for all.